This meeting is being recorded.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whenever you are. This is part 16 of Become cTrader Master webinars by TopFX. And today we are going to talk about shares. We are going to talk about this small pieces of paper which is called a share of the company, and what kind of shares are being represented on the TopFX in the TopFX offer. How can you basically trade them, and why you should trade some shares in your portfolio, and what are the correlations between share market and the other financial markets like futures, forex, and for example, I don't know, cryptocurrency, maybe, who knows. Let's find out what is going on the US shares market. This is the first market that we can trade here in the TopFX. So let's just click on the right button and on the, to be precise, on this arrow. What do we have here? Well, let's find out something that everyone knows. McDonald's. Okay, McDonald's shares. And before we just start to talk about this shares, let me just remind you guys that what we trade here are not the actual trades, shares, sorry, but contracts for difference, CFDs. So basically, what you can do with the contracts for difference is much more versatile than the regular shares. Why you trade the CFDs on the shares? Because the entry level is way smaller on CFDs than on any other share market. The actual share market, for example, on in the stock exchange in New York, in 𝗙cie, for example, right? So this is the reason. The third reason, and very good reason, is that you can trade both direction without any limits. You can buy and you can sell the CFDs for shares. So we are going to talk about the US shares, and those shares are, of course, one of the most important in the world, most known in the world, most popular in the world, and most likely, if the company is big enough to be well present in the economy, for example, then of course this company is, the shares of this company are very often, let's say, violate. Okay, so they move up and down, up and down, up and down. So you can do actually plenty of trading. Look at this here. McDonald's into the middle of the year. This is the 2000, and let me just take my cross. This is 2022, the end of the September, and then big V-shape reversal here. And then, of course, we got something that might be called a flag pattern, for example. Yeah, that's the technical part. So if you want to trade the McDonald's share, you can just basically click here for the particular let's say on the particular market, and you can see the bid price and the ask price. And if you want to make some kind of a decision, for example, I'm selling right now 10 lots of the McDonald's, for example, from the price of was the entry price 263.50 58. So as you can see, very swift, very quick reaction on the on my, let's say, on my trade. And what do we have here is like number one. So it means that on McDonald's, I have one position. Okay, let's take a look at the Bank of America, because today there's not good situation on the banking sector. So what do we have here? Let's say I want to, okay, let's sell as well 50. Okay, that's not a problem. And as you can see, I have one position open on Bank America as well. So what kind of markets do we have? okay, because I opened 2 positions, one of McDonald's, second on the Bank of America. So what do we have here is MasterCard, Exxon, Goldman Sachs, AEG, Abbott, Abercrombie, ACCO, Alcoa, Energizer. I'm not quite sure if this is a good idea for me to read all of them. Nevertheless, as you can see, there is plenty of this shares here for you to trade. You might see this kind of let's say this kind of markets here, like a Comcast or maybe Tesla. You possibly know this market. Tesla is being listed on a different stock exchange than, for example, McDonald's. It's on Nasdaq. So what you see here is, of course, the other stock exchange. It might be either Nasdaq or Dow Jones. So you got all of these indices merged into one, so you can choose the market you want to trade without any problems, without hesitating and looking for example, different indices to find out under which index the shares are. So basically, if you want to trade, for example, a Tesla, you can do it right now by let me just let's just do it. Again, I'm selling the Tesla market again for example, right? As just educational purposes. I'm just doing it to show you guys that the platform itself works very, very fast, very, very quick. So I got now 1 open position on Tesla, 1 open position on McDonald's, and on the back of America. We have a Goldman Sachs as well, for example, one of the biggest banks on the market. So let's sell another 5. What do we have here? We have 5. I guess this is 5 shares. Yeah, so 5 shares sold on the Goldman Sachs. Okay, so this is the Goldman Sachs share. And please remember one thing, that this market, I mean the US shares, is tradable during the certain part of the day, of course, because stock market is opened at certain hour, opens at certain hour, and then closes at certain hour. So what do we have here? As you can see on the right hand side is something which is showing you the market hours, basically. Of course, from on Monday you can trade this from 3:30 to 10 o'clock, for example. So that's not a problem here. And then, of course, the market will be closed. So if you leave the position open, you might find out in the morning that this position will be open on a different level again than you left it when the trading session was done. So when the bell ringed for the last time. So as you can see, the same rule applies to the TopFX. After the market is closed, you cannot change your position, you cannot adjust it, you cannot add a stop loss, you cannot add a take profit. You need to wait for the market to open. Please notice the fact this is not a Forex market. This is US shares market. So plenty of markets for you guys here to trade. What else do we have? We have European shares. So the difference is that we have shares from a certain countries here. We got shares from Belgium, UK, Germany, Switzerland, France, Spain, Netherlands, and Portugal. Okay, so for example, what are the biggest markets? For example, in the EU shares. Oh, we got Italy. That's it. Yeah, the Italy is the last one. So the biggest market is the UK market and the German market. Both of them are closed right now. So if you click here, you can see that there is no quotations here. I mean, all of them are just basically gray. If they are gray, that means this market is now closed, and there is no chance for you to place a trade. Of course, you can take a look here, and for the technical analysis of the shares, that's not a problem. Nevertheless, except this situation, you cannot do much more. You can't do anything. You cannot place the trade. You can just watch this these markets and these shares for now, and you need to wait for the market to open, of course, and then you'll be able to place a trade. So it doesn't make much sense for me to go through all of these markets here. In the UK, for example, in the Germany, Switzerland, or for example in France as well, there is believe me, there is plenty of shares for you to trade from different sectors, from different industries, from different countries. You will find something interesting for you, 100% sure about it. So we have the European shares. What kind of shares do we have else? Asia Pacific shares. So what do we have here is Japan and Hong Kong. So we have the Japanese shares and we have the shares from Hong Kong. In Japan, as you can see, you can find plenty of these markets that are being listed on the Japanese stock exchange. All of the world famous markets are here. All of the world famous companies are here. I bet that you know plenty of these markets. Ricoh, Mitsubishi, Kawasaki. You have Fujitsu, Toshiba, Sharp, Mazda, Canon. Plenty of the well-known companies you can trade that are from the Japan, and of course Chinese markets in form of the a bunch of shares from the Chinese stock market. You got something which is called Cheung Kong Property. You got China Mercantile Holding. You got China Resources Beer. As you can see, so different sectors, different markets, different kind of industries are being represented here in the Asia Pacific shares option. So you can of course choose this market to trade. Of course, if you click here, you can, for example, let's say you want to let's just say you want to trade one of the most of the important shares in China that everyone knows. Let's say this will be Galaxy Entertainment. If you go here on the right hand side, you can see that you can trade it from Monday 3:30 to Monday 6 o'clock. Okay. So of course, because there is only then the market is being opened in China. Okay, so please pay attention to the trading hours, market hours, because you might be you might get yourself surprised when you will try to open a position, but the market will be, of course, closed, or you will try to close the position, and the market will be closed because of it's basically after the market hours, and you won't be able to do anything with your position. So that's the difference between the forex market, for example, and shares and the shares market. So okay, now we know what kind of shares we can trade: US, European shares, and Asia and Pacific shares. What is the current situation, which is called like not market situation, but what's the current correlation between various shares and the various other financial markets like forex, right? So the first thing you need to know about, for example, the US shares is that they have something which is called FANG, and the FANG are the biggest companies that are included into the stock index, right? So FANG is Facebook, Amazon, Netflix, and Google, basically, and those 5 companies from different sectors, but basically from the new technologies or something like this, internet and IT. Those 5 companies basically controls the most of the market. So every trader, when he trades the US shares, he keeps an eye on FANG. He keeps an eye on this biggest companies, one of the biggest companies in the world, because if they move, that means the whole market and even index, the market index might move as well. Okay, so that's the situation with the fund. The other situation with the shares is that is very popular during the market hours, is that we got something that it's called risk on and risk off behavior. What it means? Well, a risk on behavior is when the market is trending up. Because why it's called risk on behavior or risk on phase of the market cycle? Because most likely, let's say the market general, the stock indices and the shares are going up when investors want to make money, and they are willing to risk certain amount of money now in order to make more profits in the future. But generally, investing in stock markets is being perceived by the market participants and by the specialists and the analysts as being risky, because it's being called this way. Okay, it's being called because you can make money and you can lose money, and it's much more riskier than, for example, the treasuries. Okay, so that's the difference here between the treasuries, and which is like a traditional, well-sustained, established way of investing, but gives you not a big profit, not a big premium. Okay, so the premium for risk, so the amount you can make, amount of the profit you can make when you're investing in treasuries, is way lower than the amount of money you can make when you trade stock market, and in our situation, shares. Okay, but the risk is of course bigger. So the bigger the risk, the bigger the premium, the bigger the profits, potential profits, of course, potential profits, which is why when the market and shares are rising, we in a trading industry, on a financial market, we call it that the risk is on. Okay, the risk is gone. The investors are buying the shares, which means in the same situation that the US dollar, for example, is going down. I mean, the exchange rate of the euro to the dollar is going, of course, up, because the first quotation is for the euro. So traders and investors are buying most likely euro and selling US dollar. Why? Because US dollar is being perceived as the safe haven currency. But so if there is a risk on, no one needs risk on mode of the market. No one needs the safe haven. So the safe havens are being abandoned. They're being made redundant, and everyone who wants to gain more profits and get more premium for the risk is buying shares and buying risky currency, like, for example, euro, not the safe haven currencies like euro, like the American dollar, or, for example, Japanese yen, or, for example, the Swiss franc. So this is the situation when the risk on is being played. But what's happened when the risk off is being played? And you can see that situation right now on the market. When the shares, when the price of the share of the certain market, in our situation, for the educational purposes only, we are talking about the Bank of America, you can see it's sinking down, it's going down and down and down, lower and lower. So that means the risk is off on the banking sector. And that's the situation when the market doesn't like this the current situation on the banking sector, because there is maybe some uncertainty, maybe there are some problems in the bank industry. You never know, for sure, of course. But the situation is clear here. No one wants this share for this price, basically, which is why the price of the shares is falling lower and lower. So there is no risk. There is no risk here. I mean, this is no risk mode on. As a phase of the market cycle, this is risk off, which means the traders most likely are closing lock positions and getting the money back, and then trying to get into the safe haven, or maybe transfer this money to the US dollar, to the Swiss franc, or to the Japanese yen, because they don't like this situation, what is that is right now on the Bank of America, for example. That's only the example for you guys to understand. It can be any market right now. It can be Aloka, it can be Energizer, it can be Spirit Airlines, it doesn't actually matter. This is the explanation of the two cycles, two phases, two modes that the market can be on and off, which is called by the market participants risk on and risk off, and inverted correlation between the risk on and the US dollar, for example, US dollar to Japanese yen or US dollar to the Swiss franc. This correlation is very often clear when you trade during the American session, okay, during the US session. Why? Most likely because the US session is the session when the exchange session, where the stock exchange session, plenty of the investors is participating on. So it's the most popular, it has the biggest volume in the whole world, so it's the biggest session usually, with the biggest turnover and the volume, and very popular. So there is plenty of the volatility, so you can make better trades if you take into the account the possibility of a entry or exit of your trade, which is why in that situation, even the traders from different parts of the world are taking basically part of. Okay, so they are waiting for the US market to open, and of course they are very often trading the shares and trading some sort of the currency markets as well, for example euro dollar or any other markets. So that's basically the brief overview of the US shares, of the US shares markets, and what you can do about it. If you want to take a look at this at the commissions per share, of course the newest and updated commissions for the US shares are right now on the topfx.com .sc web page. So you just go to the market specification and you can find very easily the current commissions and of course for example the spreads on the shares. I don't want to go there because there is plenty of shares. There's hundreds of the markets here, and we don't have that much time to go every market and to talk about it. You have expensive markets, you have very cheap markets, you have markets from the different sectors, from the trading different on the different levels, with a different turnover, with a different volume. So I bet that every trader can find something very useful for him on this market. It doesn't matter if you trade US shares, if you trade the European Union shares, or if you trade Asia or Pacific shares. All you have to do is to keep an eye on the market hours. So you won't be surprised that the market is actually, for example, closed and you can't open the trade, or maybe it's basically about to close or close, and you are being left with your open trades. Of course, you will then pay some kind of a commission. Of course, it won't be that your position won't be closed straight on. You will be able to trade it the very next day without any problems. So that's the situation with the US shares. That's the overview of the US shares, European shares, and Asia and Pacific shares on TopFX. More details you can find on the topfx.com.sc website. I highly encourage you to go and take a look for yourself because there's plenty of markets, there's plenty of opportunities for you to find out and to give it a go, give it a try to see how it is to trade the CFD for shares in the TopFX broker. So that's everything from me for today. It was a second overview of the market you can trade in TopFX. The first one we talked about was the Forex market, the currency markets. We talk about the correlations and intercorrelations of the currencies and the other markets. Today we talk a little bit about it as well. So if you want to know more about the different markets and how to trade them, and what are the possibilities in TopFX to trade the different markets on this with this broker, you definitely need to register to the next webinar, which will be the same time, same hour, and we are going to talk about another exciting market in TopFX. So for now, thank you very much for listening and watching to this webinar. I hope I see you guys next time. So take care and bye-bye.